Ace Bailey is, as probably he should be, currently being projected as the number 2 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. And I am fully aware that he is an incredibly talented wing with a super high level skill set, especially on the offensive end of the court. But I'm not totally convinced to this point in his collegiate career that he's just immediately going to come in and become an impactful NBA player. Now, I'm going to say this. I do believe he will very much have a long and successful NBA career, barring injuries, God forbid, which obviously I hope never happens. I hope he stays healthy and is able to showcase his talent at a super high level for a very long time, because there are very few players gifted with his size and skill set. I mean, he is rightly being compared to guys like Kevin Durant, and Brandon Miller, I would say, is probably the most popular comparison for Ace Bailey to this point in his career. But I'm not fully convinced that as of right now, he is ready to be an impact guy. Look, I understand it's very early in his collegiate career, but I have some questions about his skill set and his decision making that worry me a little bit about his immediate, the way he's immediately going to translate to the NBA as a rookie. Like, I saw a tweet earlier today and I thought it was interesting from my guy Mick Hoops, who also makes this type of NBA content, who basically said that he believes that Ace Bailey could be this year's Isaiah Collier, where he kind of falls in the draft as the year progresses. And he clarified to say he thinks Ace Bailey's also going to be a really good player, but could easily fall into like later in the lottery. And I wouldn't be totally shocked by that. And I kind of want to explain why that is in today's video. Before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you'll hit the subscribe button. Try to push towards the 1,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, tons of consistent NBA content, like 3 videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel monetized. Without further ado, let's talk about Ace Bailey. So he had himself a game today that just wasn't great. I mean, against Kennesaw State, he was not good down the stretch of that game. He threw the ball away late in the game in a huge turnover and a chance to win the game against Kennesaw State. And that's a bad loss. Like, Kennesaw State is not a team you should be losing to. 6 of 17 from the field today. Look, I know he was 4 of 10 from 3. I know to this point in the season, he is shooting 40% from 3. And that's really impressive on paper. But the stuff he's doing on the court scares me a little bit. He clearly already is far too inclined to shoot contested mid-range jumpers because he's got a high release point and he's got a skill set and a shot-making ability to make tough shots. The problem is he's doing that right now against teams like Monmouth and Kennesaw State and not doing it at a super high level. I mean, at the end of the day, the mid-range shot is one of the more inefficient shots in basketball, even if you're able to shoot it at a pretty high level, because it's a contested 2-pointer. And you want to either, for the most part, efficiency-wise in basketball, be shooting mostly 3s or mostly dunks and layups. And here's my biggest issue. Today against Kennesaw State, he shot 10 threes, but the 7 2-pointers that he attempted, not a single one of those shots was inside the restricted arc. That's a little scary. And he only shot 2 free throws in today's game. I know it's only 1 game, but I'm a little worried about his willingness already to settle for very tough mid-range, fall away, fade away, contested type jump shots instead of attacking the rim with physicality and creating a foul, creating a finish inside, especially with his physical gifts and his size. I mean, he's a legit 6'9", 6'10", really skilled wing and ball handler. Like, I get the Brandon Miller comparisons. I'll just say that right now. I think that's a great comparison. I think he plays very similarly to Brandon Miller. I mean, people are comparing him to guys like Paul George and KD for a reason. There are very few players that we see really ever with the size and skill of a guy like Ace Bailey, and I 100% do believe that he's going to wind up being a very good NBA player. But the way he plays is likely going to need to change. Number one, for Rutgers, despite having him and Dylan Harper, to actually be a truly competitive team in a tough college basketball. I mean, look, the Big Ten's good, man. Like, college basketball is not going to be a walk in the park. Like, he's going to score the ball a lot, sure, but I just don't like to see an inefficient performance tonight. Only 1 rebound, no assist, 3 turnovers. I mean, he's got 6 turnovers to only 1 assist so far in his collegiate career in 3 games against admittedly not the highest level of competition. Like, there are some question marks for sure about the skill set beyond the scoring and the way that he's scoring. I would like to see him be more physical when he's driving the ball, when he's attacking the rim, and look to not settle for those fall away, fade away, contested 2-point jumpers. Either get to the rim or shoot the three. You're skilled enough to do it. You have the handle 100%. And look, I get he's a little bit, I don't know if frail's the right word, but he's 200 pounds. Like he's a freshman. He's an 18-year-old kid. Can you blame him too much? No, not really. But he is almost certainly, and by almost certainly, I mean 99.9% going to be a one and done player. And that means that he's probably not going to be much bigger by the time he gets drafted into the NBA. I mean, he's going to have this same frail frame. And in the NBA, where the wings that you're going up against on a nightly basis are much more physical and skilled on the defensive end of the court than the competition that he's going to play for most of the season in college basketball, the way that he is playing right now is not going to translate at a super high level. And look, the NBA is really, really hard. You can't expect rookies and young guys to come in and just be dominant. And so I don't think that's inherently, like, I'm not saying he's gonna suck. He's not. He's gonna be really, really good. But in order to reach his maximum potential and to be the best player that he can be, he's gonna have to change the way that he plays a bit. And he's also just going to have to become a better playmaker. I understand with the skill set that he has, you want to be a score first player, but you cannot have a massively negative assist to turnover ratio. Again, small sample size, but a 1-to-6 assist to turnover ratio so far in the season is pretty unacceptable. It's just not good enough. And if he's shooting 40% plus from three all season at a high volume, it's the type of thing you can overlook, right? But you hope that he becomes a impactful two-way player and starts to use his physical gifts on the defensive end. And you hope that he becomes a more confident and assertive finisher and driver of the basketball at the collegiate level, because it's going to be even harder to do that at the NBA level. And if he's not able to consistently get to the rim and finish at a high level in college, it becomes even more concerning once you get to the NBA, because it's going to be that much harder to do it against NBA physicality and grown men with elite level size at the wings. I mean, it is simply a grown man's league, and it's a huge, huge step up from playing this collegiate basketball. I mean, if you're shooting not a single shot at the rim against Kennesaw State, that's not a good sign. And so look, I think he's an incredibly talented player. Like I've said multiple times in this video, I'm not trying to hate on the kid. I don't want to bash him, but immediately, I mean, before the season even started, we got immediate talk coming out as the season started, I should say. We got immediate talk talking about how the skill set is ridiculous, but he is vulnerable to settle for low percentage highlight jumpers. And I think that's a great way to describe it. He is clearly already settling for shots that are not high percentage shots. And I mean, in this mock draft, he says he's too good at hitting them to nitpick an 18-year-old with his tools and athleticism. I get that, but you got to nitpick it at some point, because it's not going to translate at a super high level and at a super efficient level at the NBA level. And that's what concerns me the most right now about Ace Bailey, is the questionable playmaking and especially the questionable shot selection. I think the defense will be very good. I think he will turn into an impactful two-way player. He doesn't have to be the best defensive player in the league by any means with his offensive skill set. He's going to be a top tier shooter. He's going to be one of the better shot creators on the wing in the league, but you hope the finishing becomes better and you hope the decision-making becomes better, both in terms of shot selection and passing ability, for him to reach his maximum potential and become the superstar player that he certainly has the capability to be. With that being said, I don't think he's a guy who's going to fall low in the lottery. I think he's a 100%, unless, I mean, something truly bad happens or he just truly winds up significantly underperforming expectations. I do believe he will likely wind up as a surefire top 10, top 5 pick, and easily, in all likelihood, a top 3 pick. But things can change and things can happen, and it's just not a super encouraging start to see him shooting the way that he is, or the shots that he is shooting to this point in the year anyway, against lower level competition. That's all I have to say. I believe in the kid. I think he's going to be really good, but I hope some things change in the way he's playing slightly for him to reach that maximum potential and to become a more pro-ready player. With that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If y'all did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA and I guess college basketball content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.